Our Timeout Show is brought to you by three awesome sponsors. As always, Randy's Auto Body, Coach B's Driving School, and the Jack Smith Agency. And tonight we're pleased to be joined by a couple of guys who are extremely busy, and I appreciate them taking some time out of their schedules to chat with us tonight. Josh Jenkins is a state champion from Reading High School, and we'll talk about his state titles, and I mean titles plural, that he won a couple of weeks ago, and his coach Coach Stump with us in studio. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yep, doing pretty good. Thanks for having us.
It's summertime. Life is good, man. I mean, it is all good right now. Coach Stump is got a tight schedule tonight. Not only is he the head track coach at Reading, you're also helping out with some softball teams too, right, Coach?
Yes, with my daughter's softball team tonight. We have a game at 7.
Who you guys facing tonight? What, did I put you on the spot?
You did.
Or what? Yeah.
You did. I don't remember.
Hey,
we have a schedule.
Ask me who my sons are playing tomorrow night. I have no idea.
Who your son's playing tomorrow night?
I have no idea. We play so many games, I have no idea. Coach Stump, you've been the track coach now 11 years at Reading.
That's right.
You guys had a special season this year, didn't you?
We did. We lost some sprinters, valuable sprinters last year, and they were missed. But we knew we had some other good talent. We had Josh, we had Austin Wygant, we had Nick Rubley, we had some other guys too. We thought we were pretty good, but the regional championship, the back-to-back, that was kind of a surprise for us.
So back-to-back regional titles for your team. And who were some of the teams you were most concerned about going into that?
Sand Creek.
Uh-huh.
That was it. Sand Creek. That was our main focus. Knowing where their best guys were, what events they were running, what they scored that day. That was our main focus of our attention.
As a track coach, do you concentrate more on your individual guys or, the team success that you can get by winning a regional like that? Track to me is a different sport. I've coached football. I don't care about statistics or anything individually. I just care about winning a game. In track, the guys are out there alone on the track, if you will, and it's kind of up to them to perform. But there's also a team element to it as well.
That's right. You have a lot of irons in the fire. You got to keep control or look after a lot of things, from the field events to the sprints, the middle distance, and the distance. You got to know what's going on in all situations. As far as
well, we're just talking about the individual success that a kid might have versus the team success. It kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Right. And I always preach, we always want to improve as an individual athlete, and then whenever that happens, when there's improvement, it helps the team,
right.
Helps the team win.
The one thing I like about track, and I wasn't a track star, I've not coached track or anything like that, but I did talk to Bruce Caswell about it several years ago. He was a football coach at Pittsburgh, but he was also their head track coach. He said if he had to pick one, he'd take track. He said he liked the fact that there's no excuses in track. You've got nobody to blame. You can't blame the coach or your teammates. You're out there and you've got to perform. Yeah. No excuses. And that's one thing that really appealed to Coach Caswell about track.
Right. There's no hiding around the stopwatch. The numbers don't lie. You can't blame anybody but yourself most of the time.
And guys that wrestle have that same kind of dynamic. I mean, you're out there, it's man versus man, and really nobody to blame if something doesn't go right. Josh Jenkins is with us tonight, and I kind of got to know Josh, even though I was coaching in the fall, through reading all of the stories about Reading Ranger football. You ran the ball a little bit for Coach Bailey over the season. I talked to you about your high school football career, and you had a blast, but that sport's tough on your body, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes a toll on you. I've had several issues with being healthy and injuries and stuff like that, and I mean it's fun. I love the sport, but it takes a toll on you.
So your football career is over. It's got to hurt to say it, but yeah. You are thinking there's a chance of running some college track for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I would love to. I have my eye on Siena Heights and Eastern right now. More than likely, I'll lean towards Siena Heights, and if I go there, more than likely I'll do the decathlon. They're going to try to train me to be a decathlete, and I'll be doing pole vault, javelin, all those neat things.
You kind of led me into a question I had for your coach, and I kind of wanted to talk to you about the nature of coaching track from the respect that you've got to know about the field events, and you've got to know about the sprints versus the distance and the middle distance. I mean, did you have assistant coaches helping you out with some of those specialties during the course of the season?
Yeah, Roger Price. He's the assistant for both boys and girls. He does a great job with pole vault, helps out with hurdles. Amy Fink, she's a Reading graduate. She actually holds a school record in disc, and she threw in college, so she helps out with the throws on both shot and disc.
In addition to your hurdle races, were you doing field events too?
Yeah, I threw disc and shot.
So you were a thrower and a hurdler.
Yeah.
That's an athlete right there.
I qualified in discus for state.
This kid over at Litchfield is decent at discus.
Oh, decent.
Well, Robinson?
That's an understatement.
What, he throwing 190 or something like that?
190 at state, I believe, yeah.
That's outstanding.
That's putting it out there a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good toss.
Josh, how'd you become a hurdler?
It started my freshman year. I moved up here from Florida, and everybody knew I had speed from wrestling and all the other sports. And Mr. Stump was just like, you know what, you got all this speed. Why don't you try to jump over some hurdles? So he had me do some drills, and the first time I jumped over them, I happened to three-step, and I didn't know anything about running hurdles. I've always wanted to. I thought it was cool. It was something that my mom did, but I three-stepped it, and then he was just like, you know what? He's like, you're gonna be a hurdler. So I was totally scared out of my mind, because if you wipe out on one of those, that's no joke. But I did it freshman year, and I wasn't bad at it right off the bat. And then sophomore year, I continued to hit the hurdles, and I ended up going to state, taking 5th as a sophomore in the 110s. Wow. And then in one of our relays, our 4x2, we took 8th. And then as a junior, the first track meet of the year, I don't know what happened, but right from there, I just exploded out of the blocks, and I happened to set our school record the very first track meet of my junior year. And then the next track meet, I rebroke that record, and my junior year was just outstanding. I've set several invitational records, and but as a junior, I took 4 second places at state, and that was both hurdles, and then the 4x1 and 4x2, and then my senior year, I just mind blowing. I did one of my goals I set out to was to be undefeated in both hurdles, and that was something that I had accomplished.
Congratulations!
Right, it just mind blowing. I couldn't believe it. The 110s, that's my race. I love everything about it. I really try to strive to be good in that. But the 300s at the state level, because throughout the season you have, your dual meets and all that stuff, and I was on the better half of the end, and I would normally finish, and there would be kids behind me, not by too much, but there was nobody really to push me. And at the state meet, there was kids that were running just as fast as me and faster. So standing there right before my blocks, I felt nauseous, and I felt like I was gonna die. And as soon as the race started, I just was gone. I exploded, was taken off, and what I like to do is, what I like about the stagger is, you have kids in front of you, and they're all at different angles or whatever, and I like to try to catch the person next to me, and that's something that helps me push myself in the meet. And when we got to the very first hurdle, I caught the kid next to me, and he was one of the kids I was worried about. And once I caught him, I was just like, this race is mine. And I just tried to take a hold of it, and I ended up finishing on the good end first.
When he showed up from Florida, first of all, you were like, yes, all right, we got this athlete that transferred in. That's always good. But, you looked at him, and what was it about his skill set or about his particular skills that he brought to the party that made you think this guy could probably be okay at hurdles?
I would have to say, Josh's memory of that first day at track practice is a lot better than mine. I don't remember, all I can remember is Josh's being a special athlete. He was very fast, and I believe him when he said, I'd make kids jump over the hurdles to see if, they could do it. And, when I saw what he could do, there was no double guessing myself about what he should do.
I've been told, and I've never hurdled at all. I have a lot of friends who are track coaches or track athletes, and I've been told that last hurdle or two in the 300s can look about 10 feet tall, Josh.
Oh, man.
Is that right sometimes?
Oh, yes.
You want to talk about conference?
Oh, I don't want to.
Okay.
But at the conference meet, I I told everyone that I was, this was one of the last time, well, not the last time I was running it, but it would be before state in that way because I knew I had to push myself. So I was telling everyone, I was like, all right, as soon as this race starts, I'm going to explode and I'm going to take off. Nothing's going to hold me back. I'm going to leave it all on the track. And so I did. And going around the last curve to the home stretch, I went over the hurdles, and I went over it not with my right lead leg. I went over it with my I normally go over it with my left, but I happened to go over it with my right, and everybody thought I was going to take a dive. And I didn't. I hobbled back, got back or stayed in my lane, and then got all the way down to the end, the last hurdle, and I just was dead. And I ended up clipping it with my trail leg, and I took a dive. I rolled, got back up, and I was fortunate to still win the race.
You literally went to the ground. You went to the track.
I took a roll and got right back up and finished the race.
Josh Jenkins is a state title winner from Reading. His coach, Coach Stump, with us tonight as well on the Timeout Show. You take a look at going into a state track meet, playing or running against some of the best athletes in the state, and you described how that meet went for you. The following weekend, then, you had another opportunity that you talked about being really excited about. Yes. Tell everybody what you did last weekend.
Well, after the state finals, the next week there's this tournament that they call the Midwest Track Meet of Champions, and what they do is they take the top 3 athletes from Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan, and they take the best 3 athletes in each event, and they join them together and have them run against each other in a 9-lane track. And I happen to be fortunate to be asked to go also with a local kid, Steven Sykes from Litchfield, and we were there Friday, and that's when we had our dinner. We did our practice, and then the track meet was on Saturday, and we represented Team Michigan. We had our own uniforms and all that stuff, and it was I was excited to go because just being able to run with the best kids in each of these 3 states was just it was a great feeling. And one of the kids from Ohio, he is ranked 4th nationally in the 110 high hurdles. And just being able to run against him and those other guys, it was just outstanding. And I happened to take 5th and did the best from Team Michigan in the 110 hurdles.
That'd be weird for you to lose, though, right?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
I mean, you get out there and you've won so many straight races. You've lost very few times in the last 2 years. It'd be weird when you gave your fastest race and there were guys that were just faster.
Yeah, and they blew me out of the water. I mean, I knew that was going to happen just because, you got all these kids and you just never know. You try to run your race, you try to do your best, but, on any given day you can be beat. And I just wanted to go out there and give it my best and run for Team Michigan.
How was your time?
It wasn't a bad time. I actually ran better than I did at state. It was 14.7, but 4th place only beat me by I think it was 300th of a second. So I was that close to getting 4th place.
As he takes a look at his future in track, Coach, I know you've had some athletes that have gone on to do college track in the past. What's the next step for him as he gets into that next level? What's he going to have to do to take that step as he goes into the college level of track?
Well, he kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit when he talked about the competition at the Midwest Meet of Champions. there are going to be a lot more guys that are faster than him, so I think he's going to have to step up at practices and really focus in on his work ethic. And not that it's bad, but I'm just saying, he's going to have to really hammer it at practice.
For a track, I've dealt a lot with football players who have tried to make that jump to college football, but not so much with track. Is weight training something that you have to be careful about? I mean, you don't want to put on too much bulk, I wouldn't think, or is that still an important part of the training routine?
He's going to have to do some weight training. Right. He's used to that with football and for wrestling and stuff, so he's not going to be shy to get in the weight room and keep in shape.
Josh, you look back at your high school career, what with the success that you've had in football with Coach Bailey, obviously wrestling, and now track, and you guys have won a lot. It's got to be cool to step back now, after it's all over, you're a high school graduate, and take a look back and say, man, my teams and myself individually, we had a lot of success.
It's definitely a great feeling. Like back in like sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, I never really was a part of sports. And well, down there was a lot more kids, so it was kind of hard to be a part of those teams. And then when I moved up here, they opened their arms up and was like, yeah, come run for us, or do this, wrestle and stuff. And it's been a great ride. I couldn't ask for a better high school career or whatever.
No, it's amazing that Coach Bailey let you escape the baseball team, though. I'm surprised that happened.
It's actually funny that you'd say that, because my dad was a part of I think it was 1981. I think it was his freshman year, but he was part of that state champion team. So, and he was always a baseball player, and it's kind of funny that I leaned towards the track rather than the baseball.
Well, you've got a great track program, Coach Stump, and we talked a little bit off the air about the stability of coaches at Reading. I mean, Coach Hubbard, Coach Bailey, and you and the track program now over a decade. I mean, to have that kind of stability in those programs, you have great athletes. We talked about that, but also the stability in the coaching. Reading's just kind of a model for that around the area.
Yeah, and you can throw Debbie Price into that mix too.
Yep.
And she's been great for me as a track coach. But if you have such great turnover in your coaches, kids are not going to want to come out. I don't know. Maybe the parents question that too. They don't really like that. So I think the longer you can stay in is the better for any sport.
Josh, congratulations, man. I mean, what an accomplishment. 2 state championships in hurdles. He got an opportunity to play in that Midwest championship meet. And Coach Stump, continued success to you at Reading. I know you have to reload. I mean, you're losing some talent, but that's the way it is in high school sports, isn't it? Right.
You never know what you're going to get. I don't remember when Josh obviously wasn't here in junior high, but with Austin Wygent, he'll be gone too. I don't remember him, outstanding in 7th and 8th grade. So there's always hope. They can, they get better as the years go on. So
that's for sure.
I'm hopeful.
Josh Jenkins is a state champion, and his coach Coach Stump. I know you guys have busy summers. I really appreciate you taking the time to come in tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Time Out right after this. You're listening to Time Out on WCSR.